Reading from the Japa Reform Notebook by His Holiness Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj. One may think, I am very weak. I was brought up in a different way. I cannot follow the rules and regulations, but I will chant Hare Krishna. But deliberate wrongdoing is offensive. If you are going to commit sinful activities and try to clear it up by chanting, then you are misusing the holy name. The name is not meant for cleaning up your dirty situation so that you can again do some dirty thing with a clean slate and again chant Hare Krishna and again do a sinful activity. Don't use the holy name in your nefarious plans like that. Approach the holy name when you want to serve Krishna, glorify Krishna, and ask Krishna to take you back in eternal devotional service. That is the power of Hare Krishna.
The goal of religion is to give an opportunity to the fallen souls to reform their heart by surrendering to Lord and by aligning with the set of religious principles that are taught. You take any path, karma path, jnana path, yoga path, they all have their respective rules, regulations which are very rigid. Like for example, in the path of karma, so much expenditure is involved in performing the yajnas, and so many meticulous chanting of the Vedic mantras and the kala, the time, the mantra ucharan, the samagris, so many restrictions, rigid rules are there. And anyone who does not stick to those rules, regulations will not get the fruits. In the same manner, in the path of jnana, there is so much expectation to exhaustively study all the Vedic literatures. The length and breadth of all Vedic literatures has to be swallowed, fathomed by the practitioner. Therefore, they spend all day delving deep into the scriptures to understand through the neti process what is asat, what is sat, what is beneficial, what is non-beneficial, what is temporary, what is permanent. And it is an analytical process involving one's intelligence, and so much is expected from the jnanis. Similarly, in the path of yoga, one has to restrain the senses, restrain the mind, and direct the intelligence to meditating on the super soul. And further, there are so many yama, niyama, pranayama, asana, so many rules, regulations. So none of the paths is easy, and every path actually entails a long list of procedures. One may say, why God has made life so difficult for the jiva? Actually, the jiva has turned away from the Lord and put himself in a very precarious position in this material world. And in order for him to cleanse himself, all these different procedures are given. And amongst all the different paths, the easiest path is the path of bhakti, which is the path of love, the path of surrender, sharanagati. And being the path of sharanagati, the procedures, rules, regulations are very elementary, and they are very easy to follow by anybody. For example, even a child can take a chamar and show for the Lord. Or even a child can take a sweep, he can sweep the floor. He can take a jadu and sweep the floor. The activities in the path of Bhakti Yoga are very easy. But the attitude, intention that one has to cultivate along with these activities is actually what makes the Bhakti so special. In order to cultivate that intention, one has to avoid sins and offenses, both. Committing sins will make one become submerged in unclean life, and an unclean person can never be determined. It's not possible. The sinful life has to be stopped, and the offensive life will make us lose the simplicity. So, yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Krishna says that one should put a full stop to sinful activities, and one should completely absorb oneself in varieties of spiritual activities, one after another all day. And by spiritual absorption and materially keeping aloof from sins, one's determination in bhakti becomes stronger and stronger. And then with a one-pointed approach to Supreme Lord, one will be able to attain the perfection. But even though the path of Bhakti Yoga is very simple, if one takes it very cheaply and thinks that because Krishna is merciful, Krishna is forgiving, anyway Krishna says apichet sudaracharo, I think I can go on doing nonsense. Anyway, the Lord will forgive. Mahaprabhu is even more forgiving. So this kind of excuses people give and indulge in sin. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acted so strongly with Chota Haridas and with Kala Krishna Das, because Mahaprabhu wanted to set an example for all the world to see how, although he is patita pavan, he is not kapata pavan. So those who are kaptis, they have no place in this movement. Bhaktivinoda Thakur calls them as kalera chela. Kalera chela means you wear kanti beads in your neck, you wear a tilak on your forehead, you keep a shika, you look like a devotee externally, and you are doing kapati activities of illicit sex, and you are indulging in all kinds of crooked activities, then you can't be called a Vaishnava. Simply wearing the external attire of a Vaishnava doesn't make one a Vaishnava. It's simply a show bottle. So therefore, if we are really serious about going back to Godhead, we have to pay the price and follow the process faithfully. And that will ensure that we can keep the seventh offense away. And those who are careful to avoid the seventh offense can very soon cleanse the heart by proper adhering to the procedures as taught by Srila Prabhupada and all the Acharyas in the line. Then one can advance to chanting the holy name inoffensively. Harinam Prabhu ki.